Yes, top of the evening, man. Top of the evening, man. I'm gonna go in and get to some motion this evening, this afternoon. It's almost midnight. After 12, I'm worse than a gremlin, huh? Feed me hip hop and I'll start. All right, so I just wanna, touch on a couple things. I was watching the fights, man. Man,
I need to share something that most homeowners are completely in the dark about. No joke. With officially 167. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing
I'm
magazine 3%
gonna share this, right? And get a couple of y'all up in here, and I'm gonna go into my bag, man. Cause I know they're not sending out my notifications, but I'm gonna tell some stories tonight. Right? We're gonna go into story mode, man. You see what my title says, right? Right. See what the title says. Books of source, man. I got some books. Real talk. I put in my work. I got books. But I want to just speak on the books of source tonight, man. Right? I was gonna title this "The Death of a Dynasty," but I'm gonna get into that. I really was gonna title it that because watching the PBC, Charlo, weigh-ins and all that. I was so tempted to title it "The Death of the Dynasty," and I'm gonna get into that before I get into the books of source. Because, like I said, when I was watching it and just seeing all the familiar faces over there, Steven Espinoza, I watched the interview he did, and I was saying to myself, like, yo, it's over. Then I watched somebody on IG posted something and shared it with me, and I was like, yeah. I said to myself, I didn't even respond back to the person that sent me the thing, but I said to myself, yeah, I get it. And that's why it triggered this live that I'm gonna discuss. I was like, yo, I get it. You have always been a fan, a strong fan of the PBC, the Charlos, Earl Spence, Broner, the whole Premier Boxing Champions, and you witnessed me be around that, right? And you never really supported, right? You would always I'll be like, yo, I was there. It was like guys like you that made me start up a media thing, or start documenting it, because I'm like, yo, you idol worship these people, and I'm telling you, they're not really like that. I be there. I was there, right? That's neither here nor there. But I was gonna really title this "The Death of a Dynasty," right? Because I'm watching it. It's over. It's really over, man. When you watch the antics and the things that they're doing, it's over, right? They had a good run. They did. They had a good run, but as far as the fights and the quality of the fights, it's over. It's really over there, man. Tomorrow night's fight card, respectfully, I say this, you see what I said? Respectfully, it's watered down. It's watered down fights, right? You got Cornflake, who is a successful East Coast Jersey promoter. He's about to fight Maul Charlo, who's still undefeated. But the real thing is they gave both of these guys rehearsals. We'll call it rehearsals. They gave both of these guys rehearsals to set them up to fight one another. Now, I wish they would have just fought, but I like it. I like it. I want to see Caleb Plant and Maul Charlo fight simply because of the history. You know, remember he slapped him. What did the five fingers say to the face? Slap, right? Rick James, right? Cold blooded. Yes, he slapped him. And if you see Caleb Plant's energy, and I know a lot of y'all seen it because that's what y'all do. Y'all sit online, y'all watch the stuff that goes on. Caleb Plant energy towards Maul Charlo was turned up. He was turned up at the press conference, right? And I'll speak on that a little bit before I get into the books of source. That's why they didn't have him on the A side. You know, people were saying, you know, you watch the chitter chatter or the internet. That's why he wasn't sitting on the side, because normally he would have been sitting next to Caleb Plant. They had him on the other side because of their history. And they know that man slapped the shit out of him, man. That's why he wasn't over there. But yeah, the death of the dynasty, man. Premier boxing champions, they don't have it like how they used to, man. And that's why this is a fire book of source, because I'm gonna go through some of the books, the source. A point in time when the PBC was the powerhouse, man. When they was the powerhouse, and I think the reason why they're no longer the powerhouse is because you have to evolve, you have to change, you have to adapt. Premier boxing champions never adapted, and it's Steven Espinosa did an interview, right? And I want to say shout out to Old Man, Leon Muhammad, and Fred Hawthorne. I was, listening to some of their content. But Steven Espinosa, there's a lot of faces and places over there that, they dropped the ball, but yet they're still running the same plays. And those plays got you guys so far behind the 8 ball now. That's why I was going to title this Death of a Dynasty. But at one point in time, the PBC was definitely the powerhouse. And I was there for it. I was there around a lot of the magical moments. And that's what this book of source is going to reflect on tonight. Part of the journey, right? And also is going to give insight onto why I say a lot of the YouTubers are jealous fans in social media, period. Because a lot of these guys worship a lot of these fighters, from the Charlos to Earl Spence to Deontay Wilder to Adrian Broner, Tank Davis, the list goes on, right? Because they were programmed. And I'm starting the book of source, chapter 1. I remember being at the Barclays Center for a lot of these epic moments. And I was still running around the hood, right? And I could recall going to some of these big fights at the Barclays Center, still being in the hood and being like I am now. Because remember, I was always who I am. It was just, I didn't have my title that I got now, right? But I remember being at a lot of events in the mix and still in the hood. And I come back to the hood and I'll be around the way and I hear guys idol worshiping these guys. And I'll be like, damn, word, I was right there. And they be like, man, you wasn't there, Shy. You wasn't there. And I was like, yo, my nigga, I was literally with them. Not like these guys that sit on the internet and be lying. Like, yo, I was like, yo, I was with them, right? I was like, yo, no BS. I was with them. They're not really like that. And these guys used to always question me, right? Some of them that used to question me, I laugh now because I watch. I'm like, damn, nigga, you still trying to be like me? But you're not outside. I was outside. You got to get outside. You're just, you're not, you're in your own way because all you doing is just sit around getting high and drunk, telling what if stories. I documented the stories and they're present now. But I remember being at the fights and being at the hotels and coming back to the hood and being like, yo, man, them dudes ain't really like that. And shout out to super bad Tony Harrison. That was probably one of my first viral interviews. He won his title, man. But I remember covering him at Gleason's gym. We was all at Gleason's, man. And they had the media workout. I was on the ring apron and I asked him a question and he was confident then. And he was like, it wasn't going to be a shock. He said, I was like, yo, what you going to shock the world? You know, because remember, I wasn't biased, but I was, you know, I thought that DJ and Earl and those guys were official. Unbeknownst to me, they were slime balls, right? But I thought they was official, so I was really like doing the media work. But I was like, you know what? I fuck with them more than I fuck with you, Tony. But I'm not gonna be biased like that. I'll still, you know, ask you questions and do my job, right? But Tony was confident. Tony went on to knock Charlo off that night. That was the infamous night where I told you, where Derrick James, and I knew then that he was an incompetent coach. He screamed to Jamel Charlo, who was getting beat by a jab all night. Look the fight up. He was getting beat with a jab. Tony Harrison won a world title with a jab. That's why I tell young fighters now in the gym, work that stick. The jab can take you around the world. It did for Tony Harrison. He became a world champion. These are all facts. That's why I said in my thumbnail, you know, the books of source, you cannot debunk this. Especially if you were just a content creator fan. I'm speaking on my experiences. Hello, couple in the building. Smash the like button. Shout out your section if you're in here listening. Good evening to you. But yes, I knew that Derrick James was incompetent because Derrick James screamed out the infamous "Do the EJ." I said, "Yo, what the fuck?" I remember looking at my brother. I said, "Yo." I was like, what in the PPC is going on? I didn't say that. I'm just saying that now to be a little funny, man. But I looked at my brother. I said, yo, this nigga just told him to do the EJ. Right? I said, yo, do they work on that in the gym? Maybe that's a code. But I remember the people sitting around me, everybody fell out laughing. They laughed when I said, yo, maybe that's a code, right? Because I was like, Earl is a southpaw. Charlo was a conventional fan, but he just told him to do the EJ. Right? I was like, yo, that might be a code for a move or something, right? Everybody laughed. Yeah, they laughed. But come to, you know, fast forward, Charlo didn't really start getting the sauce, like I like to call, till he got with my man, Kalo K, Juan Guzman. Come on, man. Somebody debunk me right now, man. I'm not even going. I'm still in chapter 1 right now. But somebody debunk the books of source, man. Debunk that right there, what I just said, man. Tell me I'm lying, man. Please, tell me I'm lying. Tell me that Charlo didn't get with Juan Guzman and got the sauce. Please, somebody tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying, man. You know, we just cooking tonight. Please, somebody tell me I'm lying, though, on that right there. If you tell me I'm lying, I'll cash app you $25 right now. Tell me that I'm lying. I'll send you a $25 cash app. That I just lied about that right there before I start heating up again. Tell me I'm lying about that. That Jamel Charlo didn't get real spicy with the sauce until he really started fucking with Juan Guzman. Right? He did. He got with Juan Guzman, Gleason's gym, Kalo K, and he got real spicy. Not only did he get spicy, he got his motion up, right? But that's neither here nor there. But yes, that night he wound up losing his world title, Tony Harris. And I remember Being at the hotel afterwards, it was a bad scene. A lot of guys were depressed. They were upset. They still went out and hung out. They went to the strip clubs and did what they did. But Charlo had a temper tantrum, destroyed his room. Yes, he destroyed his room. He was upset. He felt that he was robbed in Brooklyn. But I remember Tony Harrison coming in. And shout out to my guys, Juan, Jess, the crew. He was all in there. And Tony Harrison remembered me from Gleason's. And I was like, yo, champ, you mind if I get an interview with you? This was one of my first interviews to ever go viral. And I remember sharing that with my guys. They all were there. They all watched me work. They was watching the transformation. We sat down with Tony and they were all there. They watched the interview. I didn't even have the best camera at the time. I think I might have had a Kodak. The camera quality was terrible, but the actual conversation and insight and things we talk about were classic. That's why I went viral, because and I had to give that man his award, his flowers. I remember talking with him and saying, right, because the Charlos were mad. They felt like they won the fight, and I was like, yo, you did not win. Your coach was incompetent, man. You lost off a jab. And I had to let Tony and them know, watch the interview. I'm going to remix it. I said, yo, this man is clean, right? I said, he's clean. He didn't even look like he had a fight, man. He was clean. Right? You barely touched him. Now, the remix, you stopped him. You did your thing. You got on him. You fought like what you do. One thing about Mel Charlo, right? He's a wild... He reminds me of my boy Knight. Shout out to Jay Knight. He's a wild fighter, right? If you let him load up and throw those wild shots and he lands one of them, he's gonna clip you. He has power. That's what happened with Tony in the rematch. He got wild and got caught. Same thing with Brian Castano, because he was able to master that with Juan Guzman. Somebody come in here that knows boxing and debunk me. I got $25 for you right now to send your Cash App. Put your Cash App in it. If you could debunk what I'm saying, debunk it. But yes, he got with Juan, and he got better. But Tony Harrison was clean, and I remember interviewing him and telling him that, like, yo, man, you was clean. And then I remember, like I said, I'm not a YouTuber, and I always remember saying this: I'm not a content creator. That's why I get it. Why I don't mesh well in the content creator world, because I'm not a content creator. I'm an everyday people that happen to make a YouTube channel to share my journey and my transformation in life. Hopefully, I caught that sauce right there. But I remember one of the guys, rest in peace, to Emmanuel Stewart, old Manny. I got his nephew on here, Sugar Hill, right? But I remember somebody debunked my stuff that I'm talking about. These are the books of source, man. I said I got Sugar Hill on here, his nephew. Yes, this is Source Talk, Showtime, Shanewz, Midi. Say I got the man himself, Mr. Sugar Hill. First off, champ, thank you for your time. This man needs no introduction.
Sugar Hill on Sauce Talk.
That's right. Yeah, Sugar Hill, man. Sugar Hill. That's Emmanuel Stewart's nephew. I remember saying to Tony Harrison in that interview, I was like, yo, brother, if you could say something to Emmanuel Stewart, what would you say? Because Emmanuel Stewart always said you was gonna be a world champion. Oh man, yo, Manny was like my other guy. Rest in peace to Nassim Richardson, another great. These guys were great teachers of boxing. He's in my books of source too, but I'm not gonna speak on him tonight, because this is about the death of the dynasty, the PBC. But yes, Tony Harrison, I remember saying, yo, man, If you could say something to Manuel Stewart, who's looking down right now, smiling. I know he was smiling that night, man, because you won. You became a world champion. He said, "Yo, we got it. What's the next plan? What's the next move? Going back to Detroit with it." And I was like, "Yo, Tony Harrison, if y'all know, man, Tony Harrison could fight his ass off." You know what happens with Tony Harrison? Please, somebody come in here and debunk this, especially if you know boxing and you have experience. Tony Harrison has mental lapses in the fight. That's why he got clipped by Charlo. That's the second fight. He had the mental lapse. But he lost to a guy from Ohio before he even became world champion. He also lost to Jarrett Hurd. He has those mental lapses. That's what he does. But fighting wise, skill wise, the guy can fight his ass off. It's just those mental lapses that he goes through. See, please, somebody debunk it. If you could debunk it and tell me that I'm lying, I don't know what I'm talking about, I got $25 in the cash app for you. Books of sauce, man. I'm cooking tonight, man. So he went on to become a champion. That was an epic night at the Barclays Center for me and all my guys, man. That was, like I said, one of my first viral interviews. It went viral. And I remember Tony Harrison shouting me out. I was still Jackman Fitness at the time. He said I was the real one. He remembered me. And the reason why I'm stressing that, because that's what I said today when I threw my shots. And I was like, yo, bitches suck dick just to get to the top. The reason why I started a media company, because I never really wanted to be media. I'm doing the things that I want to do now and becoming. But the reason why I started the media company was because I remember being at the Books of Sauce, man. Somebody debunked this. I remember always being in the mix. And shout out to Dante's Boxing Nation. We was at the Lamar Peterson, Earl Spence world title fight. I was just there, right, in the mix. And everybody knew me. And Dante's Boxing Nation, he was like, damn, brother, you know everybody, man. What do you do? And I was like, I just, like I said, I was still in the hood, man. I was getting to it. I said, I just be around, right? I said, I'll be around, right? I was like, yo, but, I was intrigued by him because this is Dante's Boxing Nation. I was like, and then I see he had a phone, right? Real talk, Books of Sauce, man. Somebody come and debunk this tonight, man. Debunk what I'm saying, man. Tell me I'm capping, man. But I remember like Dante kicking it with me. He was like, yo, man, you know everybody. And shout out to my man WCS, because WCS be doing his thing. And he always mentions that. And I think about that. I was like, yo, that's accurate. Everybody does know me, right? I do know a lot of people, right? That's a fact, right? But yeah, Dante was like, yo, man, what did you do, man? Everybody knows you. Matter of fact, y'all was feeling good that day, man. I had on my like when I want to get out of my bag, I can get out of my bag. I had 80s baby. Shout out to my Nana, the Queen, right? If you know my family, you know how we give it up, right? I had on a sheepskin, man. I'm an 80s baby, so I was in the spot, right? That's when I was still Teen Spencer, so it don't make sense. So I was in the spot with the Sherlin sheepskin on, right? I had on my frames, my Claire frames. I was just chilling. That's when, like I said, the death of the dynasty, the PBC was rocking and rolling that one time, man. They was rocking and rolling, right? We was in the spot, man. So Dante Boxing Nation was like, yo, what do you do? I was like, I'll just be around, man. I'll be chilling. I was like, but I want to do what you do, man, right? He was like, yo, you can, man. You know how easy it'll be for you? You know everybody. I was like, for real? I was like, yo, you serious for real? He was like, yo, man. And I started documenting everything. But yeah, we was in the spot, man. Dante's Boxing Nation, man. He was the biggest dude. That's why I said I've been through this through waves, man. I see him come and go, man. That's when that's why I could spot out an agent, a puppet, somebody that's put in position a mile away. Because I've been around it, man. But yeah, so Dante told me, yo, do it, man. Do it. I was like, yo, you're right. I'll do it. I'm going to do it. I just was never taking it serious because like I always said, media was never going to be my thing. But I said, you know what? I got to do media because I see how a lot of the media bitches suck dick just to get to the top. These guys will sell their ass, man. They sell their mouth. We watch it all the time on the YTC, man. How is the content looking now? Smash the like button, man. But debunk this. If you can debunk anything that I'm saying tonight, I'll give you $25, man. Give you $25, man. Tell me I'm just lying about that right there. This is the Book of Source, man. I'm on chapter 2 right now, man. So we was at the presser, and I was just sitting there chilling. I remember going into the back, and I seen EJ. EJ always had a large entourage of niggas around him. Niggas I really didn't like, because I just seen it was like, you don't need all these niggas around you. But I came up in there, me and E caught eye contact, and E said, "Where's Sweet Pea?" Right? That's his uncle, man. Shout out to Sweet, man, my guy. Sweet Mr. Trey. Sweet was always, that's my guy. But if you know Sweet, you know Sweet's a bullshitter, man. He's not about his business like that. He be bullshit. So he missed the train. He never got out there with us. And that, Sweet Pea, somebody debunked this. That's EJ's real coach too. Somebody come over here and debunk it, man. Please, man. I'm here tonight, man. It's the Books of Source, man. Tell EJ I'm talking about him, man. Send him over here. I bet you he won't debunk this. I got $50 if you could, say that I'm lying about this. So yeah, shout out to Sweet. Sweet is like his real coach, right? So he was like, "Where's Sweet Pea? Where's Sweet Pea?" I was like, "Man, that nigga, that nigga, man." I was like, "Yeah, that nigga missed the trade, man." Or we was waiting for him, man, and he never came, man. We had to get on the train, man. I was sitting around waiting for him. He would have never made a hit. So, I told E, I looked at him, I see E was going through it, man. E wanted to eat, man. He was ready to go to Junior's and get his grub on. I was like, "Yo, brother," he had all them weak niggas around him, right? See, I know what fighters need. And I looked at him, right? I seen he had all them weak niggas around. They was just there. That was his demise, man. He had a lot of niggas always around him that was just there. Whenever you have people around you that are just there, eventually they're gonna steal all the energy in your life. And that's what happened to Earl Spence. I remember being in the back, going back there, niggas is looking like, "Damn, who's this nigga that's walking around like this?" I looked, I said, "Yo, fam," I looked him dead in his face, right? Because I seen he was weak. He was cutting weight, man. I seen he was weak. I said, "Yo, fam," I looked him out. I looked through his soul, right? I said, "Yo, you look strong, baby. Got this." And I gave him the energy. I gave him the sauce. Because I'm the source now. But I was Jackal Fitness at the time. I said, "Yo, you look good, man. You look strong, man. And you got this." Then he went out there to the press conference, right? This was the presser. These are the Books of Source, man. You're rocking out with the news by Shanewz, right? And they had the press conference. Shout out to the PBC. They was rocking at the time, man. They was strong, man. It's a death for the dynasty now, though, man. They weak. But he went out there. They did the presser. He had all these yes niggas with him, and I'm like, "Yo, what's these weak niggas around for, man? Why these niggas they serve no purpose. No purpose. They just here. You can't have niggas around you that's just here. That's why guys used to get mad. Once I started making my moves, I used to be like, "Yo, niggas want to kick it, right? Yo, what's up, man? We gonna kick it. Kick it for what? What do you do? Why do I need to kick it with you? What do you bring? Are you bringing anything of value, of substance? Why do I kick it with you? What do you do?" Right? Y'all catching that right there or no? How is the content now? So E went on to, defeat Lamont Peterson, right? But they had the weigh-in. The weigh-in was the next day, right? The weigh-in was at the Brooklyn Marriott, downtown Brooklyn. I remember having 100 guys in there. Yeah, 100 guys in there, man. Had 100 soldiers, right? That's what they call soldiers. We was all in there. Shout out to my man, Crazy. He got his bread though. A-Guard. A-Guard is in Vegas, man. My people seen him out there. He's doing real good, man. A-Guard is a vet, a little crazy, right? I forget what they call that shit for the veterans, you know, when they have that thing. But Agar survived, man. Agar was in Kentucky, Cincinnati, all through there, and he got in a serious car wreck, almost lost his life. But he got all that bread. He got that bread and he left. He's in Vegas. He got all kind of toys and stuff. He's doing real good. My people seen him out there in Vegas, right? But Agar was in there, and I remember me and Agar was going back and forth, right? I had all the soldiers in there, right? And they were screaming, they were screaming my slogan, right? Team Spencer, it don't make sense. Agar said he was going with look, Agar is like a lot of other niggas I know from the hood. They always want to go against you, right? They really want to be with you, but they got to go against you, right? Just to be opposite, right? So Agar said how I had the troops in there. They were screaming, Team Spencer, it don't make sense, right? Yeah, this nigga gonna say he's fucking with Lamont P. I'm going with DC. I'm going with DC. It's like, all right, nigga. So go with DC. I was like, go with DC then, nigga. EJ gonna roll him out tomorrow, man. EJ gonna roll him out, man. EJ gonna roll him out. And shout out to my boy, D-Boy Nation. Dylan Price was in there. That was my first time kicking it with him. Look, see, I know everybody, man. They was in the cut. They was in the cut. And I remember, I knew him from the amateurs. This is when he was still signed with Mayweather Promotions. And I seen him. I was like, oh. And shout out to his little brother, Boxer Dev, grown now. They was all in there. I remember going over there introducing them myself to them. Like, yo, man, I watched you in the amateurs, man. You a hitter, man. And you know, somebody debunked that, man. The content is out there. I fucked with the D-Boy squad. D-Boy. That's when I first met them at the weigh-in. In there, man. I had 100 soldiers in there. Yeah, 100 niggas was in there, man. Word. I was like Malcolm Little. You know who Malcolm Little was? Malcolm X. Remember with Malcolm X? You ever remember that the scene in the movie where they marched down to the hospital? The police beat the brother up, and the dude ran down there. He said, the police whooped them. And they threw him in the back of the ambulance, and Malcolm rallied the troops up and was like, they marched down to the first they went to the precinct, and he had the soldiers out there, and he was like, he seen his brother was fucked. They said, get him medical attention. They took him to the hospital. Malcolm, the troops walked down to the hospital. He had to make sure everything was accordingly, right? That's how I had the soldiers in the spot. And shout out to Ron. I even ran into Ron that day. Somebody told me I'm stunting and I'm fronting. Ron Artest was in the building. Yes, Queenbridge. Ron. I call him Ron. I know him from IS8, man. Ron Artest was in the building, man. Big Ron. Meta World Peace, his name is now. I call him Ron. Remember Ron? Tell me I'm lying right now too, man. Ron won a ring. He won a ring, right? I don't think no other NBA player has ever done this in their life. He won a ring. Rest in peace with Kobe Bryant. He won the ring with Kobe Bryant. He hit the 3. They interviewed him. He screamed the hood. He repped Queensbridge. He repped the projects. The bridge. Ron. That's why I call him Ron. Ron Artest, man. Big Ron. Meta World Priest. He was in the spot, man. I remember I took a picture with him. I seen him. I was like, Ron, what up? I was like, what up? Man, shout out to Ron Artest, a.k.a. Meta World Peace. A real one. I don't got to say ask about Ron. You see how Ron held it down in Detroit? He was putting heads out, right? Ron was putting heads out. Ron is like that. If you know Ron, you know. He comes from a family that's like that. Shout out to his brother. His brother was the hell of a fighter, right? These guys fight. That's what they do. If you know, their father was a fighter. But, that's neither here nor there. We're just kicking it, right? But yeah, so that was the epic, time. The PBC, like I said, they was on fire. The Death of a Dynasty. Because to me, they're still doing the same shenanigans. And you have to evolve in this game. They really never evolve. Like when I watched the weigh-in today, and I seen the Charlo, and I seen the shenanigans, and some of the plays that they're running, they're still running the same type of plays, man. You know, it's still like the big entourage. One thing about the PBC fighters, right? And please, somebody come in here and debunk this and tell me I'm fronted to the books of the source. Yeah, these niggas roll like MC Hammer. They have the biggest entourages. It'd be too many niggas. Like, what do you need all of these niggas? Like, that's one of the weakest looks, man. That's one of the weakest looks, man. But this is the book of source, right? Books of source, man. So Earl Spence went on to step on Lamont Roach in exciting fashion, and he was on his way. He was on his way. He was on his way, man. And I feel, and I stand on this, I made countless videos and spoke of this. Had he got rid of some of those guys that was around him, that they just wanted to be around him. These are the guys that kept him in the club, kept him getting drunk, just kept him, wanting to party and hang out. Because look, I'm gonna show you how long I was really around in the mix, right? He wasn't even with his girl that he's with now. Yeah, see? He was with his original, the Spanish girl. I think she's part Mexican. She's Latina. He was with her. Cause she had the little one. I think she was pregnant with the other one. See, do y'all really know EJ? Somebody come in here and debunk this, man. Do y'all really know EJ? A lot of y'all don't even know EJ. Y'all are just super fanned out. Right? Idol worshippers. Do y'all really know EJ? Somebody come in here and debunk this, man. Right? These are the books of source, man. But so, now we kicking it, right? We all in the hotel lobby. I got the content. I put it out. It's out, But I get it. See, my content was so much. And like I said, I still was in the hood. And a lot of niggas, if you know hood niggas, they're jealous niggas. YouTube boxer is jealous niggas, jealous fan zone. These niggas was mad because now, not only am I coming back and saying, yo, I did this, I did that, I'm documenting it. It's visible now. It's visible. So that's why when I hear some of you clown niggas, jealous niggas, talk about I was riding the wave. No, I made my own wave. Yes, I made my own wave, right? I remember we was in juniors. This is the same fight week. These are the books of source. I'm on chapter 4 right now. It was all in juniors. They was eating. And everybody's in juniors eating. Shout out to the punks. Right? They know who they are. The guys that backstabbed. They backstabbed IOTBA. They set him up and told on him, right? But they was all in there too. I didn't really know them at the time like that, but they was all in there too. Cause they look it up yourself. They always brag about, yo, he paid for my food and my wife's food. Yeah, they was all in there. I didn't go in there and eat. I was on the strip getting to it, right? But I remember they wanted me to be in there. Me and my brother was with me at the time. I was like, yo, I'm right outside, man. I was, come on, man. That's the belly of the beast. Brooklyn. I was like, yo, I'm outside, man. I'm getting to it, man. I'll be in there in a second, right? Juniors, like, to me, they from Texas. They out of towners. They be on shit like that. I was like, yo, this is juniors, man. Juniors ain't really it for me, right? So, I didn't go in and eat with them, but I did go in because they kept calling me. I remember Sweet kept calling me. They were like, yo, man, why you ain't coming in, man? Why you ain't coming in? So I ended up going in, but I was right out, if you know juniors and you know the location and you know how it's up there, how it is, I was just, out making moves, man. So then I go in, Everybody's eating, right? These niggas is hilarious, man. Let me tell you something. I spoke on this, man. Books of Source, man. If somebody debunked this right now, I got $100 right now. I'll cash app you 100, right? Yeah, these niggas take off EJ and his entourage, right? And I'm looking at these niggas like, yo, they left all the women, his sisters, the babies, his moms. Yeah, they just left them. I'm sitting there like, yo, do y'all niggas know where y'all at? Y'all niggas is just, you groupie ass niggas is just gonna roll out. All you men, it's men. You niggas is just gonna leave the women and the children down here. This is the belly of the beast, man. He's just gonna leave them to walk back up to the Marriott by themselves. I was like, yo. So I told my brother, I was like, yo, man, just chill, man. Cause you know, you see how I carry it, man. I was carrying like that back then. So I was like, nah, bro. I was like, yo, we ain't walking with them niggas, man. Them niggas is bugging, man. They gonna leave the women and the kids down here to walk back up there like, yo, they might get robbed, man. I was like, yo, they might get robbed, man. Somebody might try to run off with something, man. Just fall back. We gonna fall back. So the whole bunch of groupie ass niggas, they walking with EJ and the entourage back to the hotel, right? So I just, I kicked it, man. We walked the women and the babies back up to the hotel. But then we get back to the hotel, everybody's downstairs in the lobby. Y'all see my video, I was right there. I was in the lobby in the cut, the Charlo brothers. These niggas is all having a good time. I'm looking like, yo, y'all niggas just left the babies and the women down there. They could have got robbed, man. They could have got robbed. They could have snatched their purses and shit, man. What's up with you niggas, man? I'm like, what's up with you niggas, man? So now we back at the hotel. We having a good old time. Everybody's in good spirits, right? Yeah, that nigga EJ. This is when they had the hoodies, right? Look it up, man. They had the hoodies. We was rocking the hoodies for that fight week. They had the blue hoodies and the black sweatpants. That was the team joints, right? So I had got my shit. We just kicking it in the lobby. And I remember, at the time, my brother's girl came and got us. It got real late. It was real late. And she was like, yo, I'll just come and get y'all. Because we didn't even we took the train out there. She was like, I'll just come and get y'all. So we was just kicking it. It was mad late. Yo, this is when your man came in, right? Yo, Tank Davis came up the stairs. Tank is Tank, man. He's the booty dude, right? That's why I used to call him the booty dude. Because these niggas always used to have they jailhouse shit, man. The niggas be having their ass out. Like, yo, fam, why your pants down and your ass out like that? That's the booty dude. Yeah, this nigga comes stumbling in the hotel drunk, right? These niggas, that's what they do. That's why Leon Muhammad used to kill these niggas. Say how they was the drink champs, right? This nigga came in drunk, man, right? And I remember seeing this shit like, yo, man, these niggas is not it. And I would tell people this like, yo, nah, man, they ain't it, bro. This nigga came up the escalator and damn near almost fell. I was like, yo, this nigga is drunk, man. Stumbled onto the elevator, went upstairs to his room, right? Now, if I was anything like they said I was, remember how these people always just say, oh, I would have recorded all of that and tried to go viral, right? When I got a quick 5 minutes of fame. But I was just sat there in the cut. Matter of fact, you know who was sitting right next to me? And try to act like he didn't see it? Derrick James. Because we was all sitting there. Derrick James seen the shit, act like he didn't see it. And I seen the shit. I looked at my brother like, yo, I did the sign to my brother like, yo, did you just see that? Like, if we was what they said I was, especially me, oh, he's a grimy ass nigga. Yo, look, a grimy nigga would have recorded that. A grimy nigga might have even tried to do so because the nigga was out of pocket. He was out of pocket. Alright? But he, made it up to his room drunk. The drink champs, right? And then I remember, just to this day, I just seen it right now. This is the Book of Source. I'm in chapter 6 right now. Yeah, before we left, right? Because my brother's girl came, she was waiting for us downstairs. Yo, EJ's mom gave me the vintage. Yes, you know what the vintage is? Remember when he won his title? He won his title in London, over there in the UK, and Sheffield, right? Yo, his mom came downstairs and gave me the jacket. Cause she knew. Shout out to Mama Spence. Deborah Spence is her name. She gave me the jacket. And my brother was like, yo, I ain't get one. She was like, nah, it's his. This is for him. Cause she knew. Yo, she gave me the jacket, right? Yo, I seen it then, right? I picked up on it then. Yo, my brother had nigga in him, right? Cause he was jealous. Right? He was jealous, right? Like he wanted one, but he didn't get one. So he felt some type of way. I seen it in him. He was jealous. That's the nigga in him, man. But she gave me the jacket. And he was like, yo, you gonna rock that tomorrow? Right? I was like, nah. I was like, nah, we got the other shit to rock. But I was on it, my vibes. I'll be on my frequency. I was like, damn, fam, you on it like that? What you want to wear it tomorrow? So I should have just said that to him. Like, yo, what you want to wear it tomorrow? So I'm like, nah, I ain't wearing this tomorrow. Like, I'm good. I'm a rock it. It's mine. Like, you know, she gave it to me. I'm a rock it. I'm rocking my hoodie in the sweats, right? He wanted to wear it, man. He wanted it, right? It was like the ring, you know, the Precious. I caught it in him. He had the Gollum in him, right? Yeah, he wanted the ring. He wanted the Precious. I had the jacket, right? I was like, damn, fam. I was like, damn, right? I was just like, yo, what's that about, brother? Like, come on, man. But I get it, right? Because at the end of the day, EJ was on his way. And I was a part of all of that. See, I understand that now. With me being who I am now and the things that I do, I was always doing these things. But it took for Jihad Tucker to be like, yo, Sha did this, Sha did that. Yeah, man, how is the content looking now, y'all? Death of a Dynasty, though, man. The PBC, man. But those were good times, man. Those were good times, man. I just wanted to come on and share a little story with y'all tonight, man. And then, you know, the next night, that nigga EJ went out there and did what he did. But I remember when he came, he walked out to the ring. Shout out to my man from Staten Island, the lawyer. Yo, we was all sitting in the front row. He was by the aisles. And I was like, yo, I gave him my phone. I was like, yo, when he comes out, I was like, yo, he's going to dap me up. And my man, right? Listen, this is somebody debunked this, man. It's out there. Yo, they came down the aisle. Yo, I was Jackal Fitness. So I threw the J's up to him. I threw the J's up. My man was recording me and my brother. Yo, EJ dapped me up. Yo, my man lost it. The lawyer dude, he was a lawyer. I found out he was a lawyer. He told me. He was a lawyer from Staten Island. Yo, that nigga screamed like, yo! Yo, he went crazy. Yo, he bought us drinks the whole rest of the night. Yo, he lost his mind. Yo, he said, yo, you know Earl. He lost his mind. Because he thought I was bullshit. I was like, yo, man, you hold my phone? I was like, yo, he gonna come down, he gonna dap me, man. I was like, yo, hold my phone, record that for me, right? Yo, the nigga did it. Yo, the dude lost his mind. That's how I know he was a lawyer. After that happened, he told me he was a lawyer. Yeah, he was buying us drinks the whole night. The whole night. Yo, the whole rest of the night for the remainder of that fight. He was, yo, I think I might have had like 3 drinks. That the fight didn't even go that long. Yo, he bought us mad drinks. He was just buying us drinks. He couldn't believe that Earl Spence dapped me up like that. These are facts. These are facts. Straight like that, man. Books of sauce, man. And then I remember my cousin. Shout out to my man Raccoon, right? I'm about to end it, you know, because, you know, I only said I was going to stay on and tell a story for an hour. We was at the Barclays Center. It was my man's birthday. I remember I had a whole section. I had the whole section at the Barclays, right? And shout out to EJ little cousin. I brought her out there that night. Sade was with me. And we was all out there. We was kicking it. It was my man's birthday. This nigga, he's a fighter, a hood fighter, but he could fight. He loves EJ. I said, yo, nigga, I'm gonna introduce you to EJ, nigga. I was like, yo, I'm gonna introduce you to EJ tonight, man. Yo, this nigga, I swear, I told this story a million times, and this is how I'm gonna end the story. This live tonight, because these are all facts. Somebody come in here and debunk this. So, this nigga EJ, we call his phone, right? First off, you know, when I hear the stories, I laugh. When they be saying how EJ be changing his number, he does that. So he changed his number. We called his mother. His mom sent us the new number. We called him. I was like, yo, I'm in section such and such, such and such. Yo, the nigga came over. Yo, my man that could fight. Yo, this nigga he's a get busy nigga. Bust his gun, he gets busy. Yo, this nigga ran to the bathroom and hid. I know he did. That's why I front on him to this day, and I always talk about this shit. I be like, yo, nigga, you was hiding, nigga. You was right there. Yo, you seen EJ come over to the section, and you was shook. Yo, you was shook. You waited for that nigga to leave, and then you tried to come over and be like, yo, when's he coming? Then you sat there and watched, nigga. I know you, nigga. You watched, but you know what I did? I was so turned up that night. When that nigga came back, I clowned him, right? Yo, EJ was sitting in the front row. Shout out to my peoples that work at the Barclays Center, the ushers. Y'all walked right down to the floor with that nigga. And I was like, yo, I'm going to introduce you to him anyway, nigga. I walked that nigga down to the front row. Yo, everybody was in there looking at us, right? Yeah, they was looking at us, because I literally went to the front right there and introduced that nigga to EJ. Yo, like I said, this nigga's a get busy nigga. Been up north, busts his gun, gets busy. Yo, the nigga got starstruck. This nigga be in the barbershop telling stories and fighting. Oh, the nigga met EJ. The nigga got starstruck. Get busy, nigga, got starstruck. Like, yo, nigga, you always telling me, yo, tell him this and tell him, like, yo, nigga, he's right here. You tell him. Yo, the nigga didn't say shit. Yeah, he barely dapped EJ, like he froze. Like, nigga got starstruck. These are facts, man. Somebody debunked this. I got $200 right now if somebody tells me I'm lying about this, man. Even send this to EJ. I bet you EJ won't say that I'm lying about this. Send it to him. But how is my content looking now, man? Happy Friday, y'all. That was the books of Sauce. Man, I got so much experience, man. Real life experience, man. No capping, none of that, man. But how is the content looking now? This is the Sauce experience. The news by Shanewz. You know, you do have what? Options.
This is the Sauce experience. The news by Shanewz. But what do I know?
I was playing, man. I told you I was coming back to the city of Cowboy. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Seek and destroy. You know the vibe. Yeehaw!
Like raw fish.
One day you'll get your palate for used to that raw fish. Gotcha. What's that? What else you got for me?
What's your favorite place to go?
Favorite place to go is the beach. I love the beach, yo. Anywhere there's a beach nearby, I love to go there. Relax, walk along the beach, barefooted, get my feet dirty. Yeah, I'll stick my foot in the water. I don't go in the water though. There's sharks and stuff in there. Nah, I don't mess with that. Alright?
Basketball.
Look at my height. I'm short.
Introducing first, out of the blue corner.
Another one.
He weighed in at 100.
Another
With full trim. His record, 23 victories, only 3 defeats, 1 draw. 12 of those victories coming by way of from California.
This is your boy Jamel Simplifier Herring, and I'm with the best in the world, the best from Long Island, the Sauce Talk Podcast. Hey, we doing big things. Shout out to everybody out there in LA as well. Simplify, Salute.
Yes, you know the vibes.
Hey guys, this is Tiana Tumotela. I'm a top ranked knockout, and I want to give a shout out to Sauce Talk Podcast.
Thank you. You know the vibes.
Yes, this is the Sauce Talk with Keyshawn Davis.
The Sauce Talk, okay.
First off,